Okay guys, let's talk about the CBSE pattern question exercises for relations and functions for class 12. First question says, for 1 mark, let R be the equivalence relation in this particular set given by A comma B belongs to the set R provided 2 divides A minus B. That means A is related to B if and only if 2 divides the difference of A and B. Write the equivalence class of 0 where 0 is one of the elements sitting in set A. What is the equivalence class of 0? Equivalence class of 0 is actually the collection of all those elements belonging in set A which are related to A under the relation R. Which all elements in set A are related to 0? A over here is 0. Equivalence class of A is all those B belonging to A which are related to small a. Right now small a is 0, so all those elements of small a which are related to 0 under the relation R. This means all those B belonging to A such that B is related to 0, that means B comma 0 belongs to R. B comma 0 belongs to R because A is related to B under the relation R if and only if A comma B belongs to R. That means I want all those elements in set A such that B comma 0 belongs in R means B comma 0 will belong in R if and only if 2 divides B minus 0. So, such that 2 divides B minus 0. Only then B comma 0 will belong in R by the definition of R. Which are those A's such that 2 divides B minus 0? Let's try and see. Elements in set A such that 2 divides B minus 0. Elements in set A are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 0 minus 0. 2 divides 0 minus 0? Yes. Then 1. 2 divides 1 minus 0. Does 2 divide 1? No. So 1 cannot come inside this set. Then 2. 2 is one of the elements in set A. 2 divides 2 minus 0? Yes, 2 divides 2. So 2 is going to come over here. Another element is 3. 2 divides 3 minus 0. That is 2 divides 3? No. So 3 will not come over here. Next is 4 in set A. 2 divides 4 minus 0. Yes, 2 divides 4 minus 0. So 4 is going to come here. I want all those elements of set A such that 2 divides that element minus 0. Then you have 5. 5 is in set A. Does 2 divide 5 minus 0? No, 2 does not divide 5 minus 0. That is it. And so this is the set of those elements of set A which are related to 0. 0 is related to 0 under the relation R. 2 is related to 0 under the relation R. 4 is related to 0 under the relation R. And therefore, inside the equivalence class of 0 lies those elements of set A which are related to 0. And they are these 3 elements. So this is the equivalence class of 0. Next you have f is a function from collection of all reals to the collection of all reals. Defined in this manner, find f of x. Let's try and find, this is pretty simple, f of x. f of x is what? 3 minus x cube whole to the power 1 by 3. Right? Now f of this quantity if you take as y, f of y is what? 3 minus y cube whole to the power 1 by 3. Now replace it. Y is what? 3 minus x cube whole to the power 1 by 3. This is y cube. It's cube you need to take and then whole to the power 1 by 3. Carefully, very carefully. You can see these 3 getting cancelled. You are left with 3 minus x cube whole to the power 1 by 3. This eventually comes out to be 3 minus 3 plus x cube whole to the power 1 by 3 plus 3 minus 3 cancels out, x cube to the power 1 by 3 which is x. So actually x means identity function applied on x. So FOF, basically FOF of x is coming out to be identity function on x. So over here FOF is nothing but identity function on the collection of all reals. That is what is the domain. So here FOF is coming out to be identity function. Clear? Next we have, let's start from R cross R to R given by A comma B goes to A plus 4B square be a binary operation. Compute minus 5 star 2 star 0. So star's definition is given to you. They are basically saying that A when operated with B under the operation star actually gives you one single element like this by combining A and B in this fashion. Is it understood? A and B are real numbers. I am being set to compute minus 5 star 2 star 0. This is what? Minus 5 star. Keep it as it is. 2 star 0. 2 star 0 is 2 plus 4 times 0 square by the definition. This gives me minus 5 star 2 because this is 0. Minus 5 star 2. Minus 5 star 2 is minus 5 plus 4 times 2 square. This gives you minus 5 plus 16, that is 11. So when you operate minus 5 star 2 star 0, the one single real number which pops up as the answer is 11. Next question. If star is a binary operation on the set Q of rational numbers defined as A star B as AB by 5, write the identity element for star if any. Now they are already saying that this is a binary operation, so you don't need to verify it. Under this binary operation you need to talk about the existence of the identity element. I am saying let E be the identity element. Let E be the identity element in Q under star. Under the very operation star inside the set of rational numbers, suppose E is the identity element. I don't know what the value of E is. What is the role of identity element? To not change the identity of any particular rational number inside this set under star. That means any rational number when operated with this element E does not get affected. The identity of any element does not change when it is operated with the identity element, and this is true for every rational number because right now the set in concern for us is the set of rational numbers. This implies A star E is A for all A in the set of rationals. A star E is what? A star E is AB by 5. So it is AE by 5 equals A for all A in the set of rationals, which implies what? Clearly you can see this is AE equals 5A and therefore E is equal to 5. And 5 very much is a rational number. So the rational number 5 happens to be the identity element. Therefore, identity element is equal to 5, which is a rational number. Clear? Next we have, if this function given by fx equals x square plus 2 and g by x upon x minus 1, then find FOG and GOF and hence find FOG of 2 and GOF of minus 3. Whenever I am talking about FOG, this is defined from the domain of G, isn't it? FOG is defined from domain of G and GOF is defined from domain of F, right? I can say to collection of all reals, to collection of all reals. FOG is defined, let us first talk about FOG. FOG is defined only and only when range of G is contained in domain of F. And GOF is defined if and only if range of F is contained in domain of G. So first of all we need to talk about domain and range of F and G. Fx is given as what? Fx is given as x square plus 2. Clearly x is allowed to take any rational number, any real number, because x square plus 2 is a defined real number for any real number as x. You plug in x equals any real number, x square plus 2 will always give you a defined real number. So domain of F is clearly all real numbers. What about range of F? Well, x square is always a non-negative quantity for any real number. You know this. So x square plus 2 is greater than or equal to 2 for all x in the collection of all reals. That means x square plus 2 actually means this. Whatever you plug in place of x, x square plus 2 will always give you values in this interval, and that is what is the range. Range of F is 2 comma infinity. This is about F. G of x is x upon x minus 1. Clearly you can see this function refuses to give a real value when you put x equals 1. When you put x equals 1, you get 1 upon 0, which is not a real number. But apart from 1, if you put any real number in place of x, this quantity is giving you real number as the answer. And therefore domain of G is all real numbers minus singleton 1. And range of G, if I talk about, you know what is the drill. We put x upon x minus 1, that is definition of G of x equals y. Compute the value of x in terms of y. Right now it is y in terms of x. Now compute x in terms of y. You get y equals yx minus y, which gives you x, or let me write y equals xy minus x, which is x y minus 1, and therefore x equals y upon y minus 1, which also means this particular x is a well-defined real number only when y is not equal to minus 1. Just for y not equal to minus 1, rest all the values of y are giving me x as a real number. So this x is a real number only for y equals to not equal to minus 1. So range is also all real numbers minus the quantity 1. Now if I want to talk about FOG, if I want to talk about FOG's existence, I need to ensure that range of G is contained in domain of F. Now range of G is this, range of G is actually this, and domain of F is collection of all reals. Clearly range of G is contained in domain of F. Range of G is contained in domain of F, which implies FOG exists. FOG is defined from the domain of G. So for x belonging to domain of G is what? R minus 1, we need to define FOG. For x belonging here, FOG of x is f of g of x, which is f of g of x is x upon x minus 1, f of g of x, and when you put it over here, f of g of x, that means x upon x minus 1 whole square plus 2. This gives you what? X square upon x minus 1 whole square plus 2, which gives me x square plus 2 times x minus 1 whole square whole upon x minus 1 whole square. That is, this comes out to be x square plus 2x square plus 2 minus 2x, so minus 4x whole upon x minus 1 whole square. This is x square plus 1 minus 2x, x square plus 1 minus 2x. So this is what you have. So you have 3x square minus 4x plus 2 whole upon x minus 1 whole square, and you are supposed to find FOG of 2. So therefore FOG of 2 lies in this set, 2 lies in this set. So FOG of 2, where 2 is coming from here, will be 3 into 2 square minus 4 into 2 plus 2 upon 2 minus 1 whole square. This is 12, 12 minus 8 is 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 upon 1 is 6. Similarly, you can compute G O F. Now range of G is contained in domain of F. Now I need to show range of F is contained in domain of G. Range of F is this, domain of G is this. Clearly inside this only 1 is not there, and I need all real numbers beyond 2. So clearly all the real numbers beyond 2 are lying inside this set. So as range of F is contained in domain of G, this implies GOF is defined. GOF is defined from domain of F. For x belonging to domain of F, which is collection of all reals, let's talk about the computation of GOF of x, which is G of f of x, which is G of f of x is x square plus 2. Here you need x upon x minus 1. So this will be x square plus 2 upon x square plus 2 minus 1, which is x square plus 1. This is your GOF of x, and therefore GOF of minus 3, where minus 3 definitely is belonging in collection of all reals, that is the domain of f, which is also the domain of GOF. So for x equals x minus 3, GOF of minus 3 is a defined quantity and it is equal to minus 3 square plus 2 upon minus 3 square plus 1. This is 9 plus 2, 11 upon 9 plus 1, 10. Clear? So GOF of minus 3 is 11 upon 10 and FOG of 2 is 6. That's how you need to ensure the containment of sets and then hence carry forward the argument for the computation of FOG, GOF and then values of these particular points. Now next we have show that f from collection of all natural numbers to the natural numbers given by this definition is bijective. Bijective means it's both 1, 1 and onto. Clear? Let's talk about this. First, let's talk about the injectivity, that is 1, 1ness. So there are three cases which arise. You can see by the definition, x is odd, then different definition, x is even, then different definition. I am saying if x1 and x2 both are odd, okay, then you consider f of x1 equals f of x2 and the algorithm says I need to show x1 equals x2. F of x1, if x1 and x2 both are odd, then f of x1 is x1 plus 1 and this is x2 plus 1. Clearly you can see 1, 1 is out, you get x1 equals x2. Case 2. If x1 and x2 both are even, if x1 and x2 both are even, in this case if you consider f of x1 equals f of x2, then f of x1 is x1 minus 1 and f of x2 is x2 minus 1 because both x1 and x2 are even. Again you get very clearly x1 equals x2. Case 3, one is even, other is odd. Say x1 is even and x2 is odd. The moment I am saying x1 is even and x2 is odd, this means x1 and x2 clearly are not same. First of all, I have to consider fx1 equals fx2 and bring x1 equals x2. This shows f is 1, 1. Apart from this, what can I do? Contrapositive. If x1 is not equal to x2, show that fx1 is not equal to fx2. I would repeat, either consider fx1 equals fx2 and show x1 equals x2, or consider x1 not equal to x2 and show fx1 not equal to fx2. Over here clearly you are getting x1 not equal to x2 because 1 is even, 1 is odd, so I need to adopt the contrapositive approach to establish 1, 1ness. This implies x1 is not equal to x2, which further implies x1 is even, which further implies x1 minus 1 is not equal to x2 plus 1. If x1 and x2 are two unequal natural numbers and from this you are removing 1, from this in this you are adding 1, what can you get same numbers? Of course you cannot. This implies this is f of x1 is not equal to f of x2. Fine. So therefore you can see in all the three cases f is coming out to be 1, 1 and hence f is injective. Moreover, if I talk about ontoness, if I wish to establish the surjectivity, that means I need to show, give me any natural number here in the codomain. There is definitely a natural number here which f maps it to the chosen natural number. Let's try to establish surjectivity. Let y belongs to the codomain of f. I need to show that definitely exists some x in the domain of f such that f of x is this y. That means this y is the image of some x under f. Let y be in N. If y is odd, then y plus 1 and y is a natural number. If y is an odd natural number, suppose y is 3, then just next to 3 is what? 4, which is even. If y is 5, that is odd natural number, just next to 5 is what? 6, which is even. Whenever y is an odd natural number, y plus 1 is an even natural number. y plus 1 is an even natural number. So if y is belonging in n, this implies y plus 1 also belongs in n. And I am saying right now n is, I am taking the domain of f, such that when f gets applied to y plus 1 is even. Whenever x is even, x minus 1 is the answer. Y plus 1 is even, so y plus 1 minus 1, that is y is the answer. Therefore, there exists x equals y plus 1, which is even natural number, sitting in the set of natural numbers which is domain of f, such that f of x, that is f of y plus 1, is equal to y, which belongs in the codomain of f. And this is one case if y is odd. Next, if y is even. If y is an even natural number, then what is that natural number which is going to get mapped to this y under f? If y is even, suppose y is 4, then just before 4 is 3, which is odd. If y is say 8, then just before 8 is 7, which is odd. So if y is even, this implies y minus 1 is odd and y minus 1 is a natural number lying in the domain of f, such that when f gets applied to this odd natural number, answer is that odd natural number plus 1 according to the definition of f, which is y. That means there exists x equals y minus 1 in the domain such that f of x, that is f of y minus 1, is equal to y sitting in the codomain. Clear? Therefore, f is on 2. We have established the injectivity and surjectivity of f, and therefore f is both injective and surjective. It is bijective, hence invertible. Show that the relation S in this set defined like this is neither reflexive nor symmetric nor transitive. That means if I need to not establish reflexivity, symmetricity and transitivity, I need to find some A and some B sitting in the set of all reals which are violating the rule needed to be reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So first of all, let's try to cancel the reflexivity out. See, for reflexive I need A should be related to A for all A in the set of all reals under this case by this relation. A should be related to A, every element should be related to itself. I am saying 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. 1 by 2 should be related to 1 by 2 if the relation is reflexive, but 1 by 2 is not related to 1 by 2 under the relation R is what I am trying to say. So basically I am going to say claim 1 by 2 is not related to 1 by 2 and therefore the relation is not reflexive. Why? 1 by 2 will be related to 1 by 2 only when 1 by 2 is less than equal to 1 by 2 cube. As 1 by 2 is not less than equal to 1 by 2 cube. Yes, 1 by 2 cube is 1 by 8. 1 by 2 is not less than 1 by 8. Therefore, 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 does not belong to R. And there exists some particular real number which is not related to itself and therefore R is not reflexive. Next, if I talk about symmetricity, if A is related to B, then B should be related to A if relation is reflexive for all A, B in the set of reals or whatever the set is. That is what is symmetricity. Now, if I talk about minus 2, so my claim is on the grounds of which I will be saying that yes, it is not symmetric, claim is that minus 2 is related to 3, but 3 is not related to minus 2. That is the claim, and because there exists A and B such that A is related to B but B is not related to A, therefore R is not reflexive. So as minus 2 is less than equal to 3 cube, this implies minus 2 comma 3 is in the set R because minus 2 is less than 27. But 3 is not less than equal to minus 3, or I should say, yeah, 3 is not less than equal to minus 2 cube, which is minus 8. 3 is not less than equal to minus 8, and therefore 3 comma minus 2 does not belong to R, and therefore R is not symmetric. Is it clear? Now talking about transitivity. Claim 2 is related to 3 by 2 and 3 by 2 is related to 4 by 3, but 2 is not related to 4 by 3. There exists real numbers a, b, c such that a is related to b, b is related to c, but a is not related to c, and therefore relation is not transitive, and this is that a, this is that b, and this is that c. You can clearly see 2 is less than equal to 3 by 2 cube. Therefore 2 comma 3 by 2 belongs in R. Also 3 by 2 is less than equal to 4 by 3 cube, right? And therefore 3 by 2 comma 4 by 3 also belongs to R. But 2 is not less than equal to 4 by 3 cube. This is a very small quantity. How can 2 be less than it? And therefore 2 comma 4 by 3 does not belong to R, and therefore R is not transitive. Fine. Even apart from these quantities that I have chosen in any case, you can definitely choose some other quantities as well. You just need to ensure that you need to cancel out reflexivity here, cancel out symmetricity here, and cancel out transitivity here. The elements that you are choosing to do that can be different. I have chosen these, you can choose some other. Clear? Moving to the next question. Consider this binary operation defined on this particular finite set. As A star B is minimum of A and B, write the operation table for star. This is pretty simple. Let's try to write the operation table for star. So I have star over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1 star 1, that is minimum of 1 and 1 is 1. 1 star 2, minimum of 1 and 2. 1 star 3, minimum of 1 and 3. 1 star 4, minimum of 1 and 4, minimum of 1 and 5. 2 star 1, minimum of 2 and 1. 2 star 2, minimum of 2 and 2. 2 star 3, minimum of 2 and 3. Minimum of 2 and 4, minimum of 2 and 5. 3 star 1, minimum of 3 and 1. 3 star 2, minimum of 3 and 2. 3 star 3, minimum of, here it will be 1. 3 star 3, minimum of 3 and 3, minimum of 3 and 4, minimum of 3 and 5. 4 star 1, minimum is 1. 4 star 2, minimum is 2. 4 star 3, minimum is 3. 4 star 4, 4 star 5. 5 star 1, minimum is 1. 5 star 2, minimum is 2. 5 star 3, minimum is 3. 5 star 4, minimum is 4, and 5 star 5 is 5, and that is where you have completed your composition table. Okay, next we have, let f from n to R be a function defined like this. Show that f from n to s, where s is the range of f, is invertible. In order to show that f from n to s, where s is the range of f, is invertible, I need to ensure that f is 1, 1 and onto. So let's first talk about injectivity or one-oneness of f. Okay? Let f of x1 be equal to f of x2. I need to show x1 equals x2. F of x1 will be 9x1 square plus 6x1 minus 5. This will be 9x2 square plus 6x2 minus 5. Minus 5 cancels out. 9x1 square minus 9x2 square plus 6x1 minus 6x2 equals minus 5 plus 5, that is 0. 9 common, x1 square minus x2 square, so this is x1 plus x2 into x1 minus x2 plus 6 into x1 minus x2 equals 0. x1 minus x2 is common. This is 3, you can just take out 3 common and that is going to go to 0. You're left with 3 over here and 2 over here. So you will have 3x1 plus 3x2 plus 2 equals 0. Either this is 0 or this is 0. Can this ever be 0? x1 and x2 are coming from the domain of f, which is natural numbers. Natural numbers begin from 1. So, can this ever be 0? 3 times a natural number plus 3 times a natural number plus 2, this can never ever be 0. But as 3x1 plus 3x2 plus 2 is not equal to 0, as x1 and x2 are coming from the set of natural, that means minimum they can be 1. Maximum they can be any non-zero number, but they can themselves never ever be 0. So therefore this entire quantity also can never be 0. There is plus everywhere. This cannot be 0. If this is non-zero but its product with this is 0, that means this has to be 0. So this implies x1 minus x2 is for sure 0, which implies x1 is equal to x2. So I began with fx1 equals fx2. I showed that x1 equals x2. F from n to s is 1, 1. Now f from n to s is 1, 1. This is established. Now if f from n to s is 1, 1, it is established. I need to now establish the ontoness. Clearly the codomain is equal to the range, as S is range of f and f is defined from n to s. Therefore codomain of f is equal to range of f. That means every member in the codomain is the image of at least one member from the domain. In fact, exactly one member from the domain, because f is 1, 1 also. So every member in the codomain is the image of exactly one member from the domain. That means the entire codomain is equal to the range, and therefore f is clearly onto. No need to show anything because the codomain itself is given to you already equal to the range, and therefore f is invertible. Therefore f inverse from S to n exists. F was from n to s, f inverse exists from s to n, range of f to the domain of f. How to find f inverse? Let y be equal to f of x, which is 9x squared plus 6x minus 5. That is what is the definition of f. So let y equals this. This can be written as 3x whole square plus 2 into 3x into 1 plus 1 square minus 1 square minus 5. I am just trying to complete the square. This is 3x plus 1 whole square minus 1 minus 5 is minus 6. This is y plus 6 equals 3x plus 1 whole square. Now you can write this as 3x plus 1 equals plus minus square root of y plus 6, but I will be avoiding writing the minus sign because x is coming from the set of natural numbers which do not include any negative quantity. So there will only be a plus over here, or you can just avoid writing anything, but you will never take negative because x is coming from natural numbers. This implies 3x is equal to root over y plus 6 minus 1 and x is equal to root over y plus 6 minus 1 whole upon 3. And what do you write next? Therefore, f inverse x is equal to under root x plus 6 minus 1 whole upon 3. That is your definition of inverse, that f inverse of x, where x is coming from s, is equals to under root x plus 6 minus 1 whole upon 3. Is it clear? And that is your computation of inverse of f. Next question, let A be equal to Cartesian product of set of rationals with itself, and let star be a binary operation on A defined by what? A comma B star C comma D is AC comma B plus AD for AB comma CD coming from A. Determine whether star is commutative and associative. Then with respect to star, find the identity element and find the invertible elements if any. So we need to talk about commutativity and associativity. If I talk with commutativity, let's first talk about commutativity. Commutative means one element star another element is equal to another element star the first element. So let A comma B comma C comma D belong to Q cross Q, which is set A. Then A comma B star C comma D is equal to AC comma B plus AD. That's how the operation is being done. A into C comma B plus AD. And if I talk about C comma D star A comma B, it is CA comma D plus BC. That is what is happening. That is what the definition is basically. Multiplication of first coordinate with the first coordinate sits over here as the first coordinate. Then second coordinate of the first pair plus product of first coordinate and the second coordinate. So here also I have done the same thing, product of first coordinate sitting over here, then second coordinate plus the product of the first and the second coordinate here. You have this, and therefore you can clearly see AC is equal to AC, not a problem. Product inside rational is commutative. A into C is same as C into A, but B plus AD is not equal to D plus BC, right, for every rational number. So as A comma B star C comma D is not equal to C comma D star A comma B, therefore star is not commutative. So first thing is established that commutativity does not hold. Fine. Now we need to talk about the associativity. So let's consider A comma B, C comma D, E comma F. For that we need three elements coming from the set over which the binary operation has been defined. A comma B star C comma D whole star E comma F. If you consider this, what do you get? This gives you AC comma B plus AD star E comma F. This gives you AC into E comma B plus AD into ACF. B plus AD plus ACF. And if I talk about A comma B star C comma D star E comma F, these both first I need to operate. A comma B remains as it is, star. C into E comma D plus, or I should write what? D plus CF. D plus CF. Now A into CE comma B plus A into D plus CF. So comma B plus AD plus ACF. You can clearly see ACE, B plus AD plus ACF, B plus AD plus ACF. I can see that if I say this is 1 and this is 2, as 1 is equal to 2 and these were any 3 elements taken from Q cross Q, that means this is true for any element taken from Q cross Q, and therefore star is associative. Clear? So it is not commutative but it is associative. After this we need to find the identity element in A. Let us try to compute the identity element. I am saying let say E comma F be the identity element in A with respect to star. If this is the identity element in Q cross Q, that means any ordered pair operated with this identity element do not change its identity. Any element from A, if operated with E comma F, does not change its identity. What is this? According to the definition, AE comma B plus AF is equal to A comma B for all A comma B in Q cross Q. If you compare, you get AE equals A and B plus AF equals B. AE equals A means E is 1, and this is AF equals 0, so F equals 0. Therefore, E comma F 1 comma 0, which definitely belongs to Q cross Q, 1 is a rational, 0 is a rational, is the required identity element under star in Q cross Q. And then I need to find the inverse element. How many elements inside this set are inverse elements? Then I am saying let C comma D belonging in Q cross Q be the inverse element. Let this be the inverse element of A comma B in Q cross Q. So suppose A comma B is some particular element in Q cross Q and it has its inverse as C comma D. If C comma D is the inverse of AB, this implies when A comma B is operated with C comma D, you get the identity element which is 1 comma 0. This means AC comma B plus AD according to the definition is 1 comma 0, which means if you compare AC is 1 and B plus AD is 0. A and B you are aware about, you are saying C comma D is the inverse of AB. So if C comma D is the inverse of AB, C will be 1 by A and D will be what? Minus B by A, because AD is equals to minus B, D is minus B by A. Is it clear? A has to be not equal to 0 clearly, otherwise this will not be defined. So therefore, for A comma B in the set of rationals where A is not equal to 0, inverse of A comma B exists and is equal to what? 1 by A comma minus B by A. Pick up any A comma B in the set Q cross Q. This is in Q cross Q. Pick up any A comma B in Q cross Q, provided A is non-zero, its inverse will be 1 by A comma minus B by A, which also belongs in Q cross Q. And that's how we tackle all the questions related to this particular exercise. That's it from my side. Thank you.